Welcome everyone. This is gonna be a part 2 series of 5 mistakes that you need to avoid on this alt season. So let's jump on it. The first one is gonna be something which is really important, and I shared also in my free newsletter a few weeks ago. By the way, I'll leave a link below. It's really awesome. I send weekly newsletter on stuff that I can't actually share here, so it's really in-depth knowledge. Anyway, the idea is simple. On the alt season, everyone loves to trade, right? You see every coin going up here and there, and the problem that a lot of people do all the time is they over rotate. So what I mean with over rotate, you got Aave, you get bored of Aave, or let's say you make a few profits, then you go to render, then for render you sell for another AI agent or something that is hot at the moment, and all of these moves are a big risk. Why? Because most of the time the stuff that you sell is gonna pump the moment you sell, and the stuff that you buy is gonna just probably go in small profits or just even go and break even. This is like 8 out of 10 happening all the time. It happened also to me on the previous alt season. So it's a move that happens a lot, and a lot of people in the previous bull run missed coins like Solana and other stuff because they were super bored about it. So let me show you, for example, what happened with Solana last cycle, so you can create a better idea what I'm talking about. So Solana launched, and look how it went. It launched, and then August 20 till December 20, it was down only. Can you imagine holding Solana back then, how brutal this is? Right now, you can't understand it because you see all the green candles that comes after and you'll be like, yeah, but it actually pumped. But you actually can't understand what those investors that had invested on Solana had in their mind back then. Imagine this chart was like this and you were invested on this coin today. What do? 80% of people dumped and sold here for stuff like, let's say, what Link was doing in 2020, for example. Look at Link. A lot of people had sold, recognized the major opportunity early, and they actually sold it for, let's say, Link, because it was actually pumping, and they chased the stuff that pumped. So look Link how it did in 2020. Imagine. Sol started to pump something in January 2021, but all this period right here for 2020, all of this was brutal for Sol investors back then, because they were all actually watching Link guys, other people that were actually making a ton of money and all of this kind of stuff. So you have to be really careful, especially when you actually over rotate, because a lot of people try to chase stuff that pumps. So let me find again the Sol chart. So the strategy that I'm going to teach you is exactly something that it will make you basically not have regrets. A lot of people that actually sold Solana here and chased another thing that pumped, they missed more than 200x gains, because look, it was at $1, went to $250, more than 200x, and missing a 200x, it's not like you missed a 10x and you're not gonna regret it, right? Another thing is how people lost, let's say, on meme coins. Imagine how many people were on Shiba Inu and they chased another coin because it wasn't moving at the time, and then you hear the stories that, yeah, I had $100 on Shiba, I could have made 100 million, but I sold early. So in order to prevent this from happening, what you should do, the best thing you should do, in my own opinion, is hold at least 10% or 5% on the previous coin. So what I mean with this, let's say you're in a coin right now, and that is basically a cycle 1 coin, second cycle, doesn't matter, and you want to sell it because you're bored, or you actually find it a better opportunity, because for sure people actually sell not just because they're bored, but they think also this coin can have more opportunities. So to prevent this, what you do is the coin you actually had previously, you hold a small percentage and you don't sell all of it. So you sell 90% and hold 10%. Why this is? Because 10% it doesn't affect you. If you got, let's say, 10 grand and you hold just 1k in one coin that you actually don't care much, it doesn't gonna affect you. If you actually think that, yeah, but 1k is a lot, I can put on other stuff, try to lower that amount to 5%. Now, the idea why I tell you this is because this actually gives you room for error. And what I mean gives you room for error. If you jump on a stuff that is not good and you actually don't make any money, but the stuff that previously you sold is amazing and you couldn't understand that because you were chasing the hype and things were that pumped, like Solana here, for example, or even Matic. Let me show you how brutal Matic chart was. There are a lot of scenarios like this. This is why I always tell people right now, don't panic on Altseason because you're gonna sell too early. Look how brutal the Matic chart was. Look, 2020 it was not even moving. It started 2021. Imagine the investors here. Guess what? Then they did more than 60-70x at least minimum. So the idea is like this: if you sold Matic here, you got wrecked. But if you actually held 5% or 10% of the money that you got on Matic, you would capture that move and you would not regret it. So my first thing is basically you should never fully rotate on anything. Keep a small percentage, because it's not just about, yeah, but you might argue and say, but yeah, but 10% it's nothing even if I do a 50x. I mean, it's not that it's nothing, but keep in mind that it's not only about money, it's also about the mindset and how you train your mindset to not call it a loss, right? Because if your mindset understands that you miss something and it's a loss, it affects your psychology to chase the next investment. But if you do the right stuff, you consider that as a win because you did a right move, right? So it's not just about the money that you make, but the psychology and how much it trains your mindset. So you have to be really careful, because these kinds of stuff happens all the time, and you need to hold a percentage of your previous coins, because it helps you to remove your regret. I remember also, what was the other coin? I think Sandbox was another similar scenario that I remember that didn't even move for too much. Yeah, 2020, look, if you got bored here, it was exactly almost the same price, just pumping 2x or 2x or not even moving for 2020. Then look where it started, 2021, it went like crazy, literally crazy. If you got bored and chased, let's say, Link or other stuff that was pumping on 2020, you actually miss life-changing gains. And this is not a regret that you pass so easy. It's like, I know people that had $100 on SHIB and they'd be like, yeah, I could have made $100 million, but you think they have it easy to say, no matter how they easy try to make it. But imagine sleeping at night when you know that you could have made $100 million. I mean, it's so hard, right? So this strategy prevents you from doing those mistakes. Now, the second point that I want to make is that you have to be really careful from scams on hype sectors. So what I mean with that, NFTs last cycle were super hot, right? Where one of the things that people said is going to be the best, is going to be the next big thing, they're going to change the world. It was trash, but anyway, you could have made so much money. But actually, what people don't get is that on NFTs, you could have made money for sure. But what people don't get is that they actually don't understand that when there's hype, there will be most of the scams. So if AI agents are hot right now, keep in mind that you'll see also most of the scams pumping right now. And 8 out of 10 of the projects on AI agents are pumping due to the hype, not because they got tech. So you have to be really careful, because a lot of people be like, yeah, but you can make so much money on AI agents and all of this kind of stuff, but you can actually lose so much money too. So this is like the pros and cons of jumping on something early. Don't think like it's all green there and you're gonna make the most money in the world and it's gonna be easy. It's not true. So you have to be really careful. Now, the next point I have to make is that you should reinvest your profits in a smart way. So what happens? A lot of people go into crypto and they don't calculate the cycles. What I mean with that, if you actually make the majority of the money today, you have to put a percentage that makes sense. So don't be dumb, and let's say in 2-3 months from now you make really great gains, right? And you put all 100% of it without doing any calculation. That's a dumb move, because anything that gets near the end of the cycle, the average cycle, it's a risk. Like the chances to succeed when you buy a coin, let's say after Q2 2025 are 2 out of 10. The chances that you could have bought a coin in 2023, 2024, and probably even Q1 2025 is 8 out of 10. So it's not that you can't make money, but you have to understand that the period that it comes near the end of the bull run, the average cycle, it's so risky territory. So at that time, for example, here on our altcoins, you could have made so much money. The issue is that here you actually had also most of the scams, because a lot of scammers, people that build those projects, target you exactly when you have money, because when you have money, you become naive. A lot of people don't pay attention to this. Yeah, and the reason why it happens is simple, because when you got money, you actually feel overconfident, right? Because you passed all the suffer, you made money now, you know the crypto, you made more money than your friends, and you become overly confident. And what happens when you become overly confident is that you become more naive, because you think like, yeah, I don't need to do more research because look, I've made my money. Who cares, right? If I put 20% of my capital, I don't care. So people love this, basically scammers love the time. So you have to be really smart when you invest, because for example, this is a calculation you gotta do. Let's say the average bull run length is, here it's 1078. Even you do here, it's like, yeah, 1000 and something. So if you do the calculation, right now we're on 800 days, right? Usually altcoins can actually run even 1 to 2 months after Bitcoin tops. So for example, when Bitcoin topped in 2021, we saw even altcoins running maximum till January or February 2022. So you should actually see them running for 1 or 2 more months. But again, the more you enter this territory, the more risk you have. So if you're in 800 days and you made, let's say, so much money the next 1 or 2 months or even 3 months, whatever it is, and you put more than 50% of your money back into the market, I think it's a wrong move, because you're actually passing 50% of, more than 50% of the bull run. How you can put 50% of your money? So that's how you gotta calculate when you actually wanna reinvest your profits back into the market. It's a dumb move to put more money than matters, because all that matters are cycles. This is all the data. And to everyone that doesn't believe cycles, show me another metric that is backed by two cycles. So you got 2017, you got 2021, and you got this bull run. So be careful when you reinvest something after Q2 2025. As I said, it's not that you can't win. You can make some quick money, but also you can lose it so quick. So it's just about the odds of you winning. The odds of you winning few months ago were higher than, let's say, in the next 3 or 4 months. So another thing which I want to talk is, you shouldn't buy the dip even if you can. And listen to me carefully, because it's very important for the mindset, because I know a lot of people do this as a mistake. So what happens is that people actually see a dip, right? And let's say they are in Cardano. What they do is they try to buy all the dip and they kind of feel good about it. What people don't get is that sometimes the majority of investors that be like, yeah, buy the dip, I bought the dip, actually buy the dip just to remove the pain for something that is going down. So listen to that carefully. A lot of people buy the dip not because they understand or afford, but just because they want to remove the pain. So a lot of people on altcoins have been down, right, for this whole period of time while Bitcoin is going up, and you're kind of suffering because you see others making money while you're not making. It's the same exact scenario like I told you with Solana. Back then, Solana investors in 2020 were feeling like shit, right? But guess what? They were the most rewarded. So if you actually go on Sol, let me show you an example here. If you actually go on Sol chart and you are here at this stage, you basically went and, oh, I'm going to buy the dip, I'm going to buy the dip, I'm going to buy the dip. A lot of people buy the dip just to remove the pain because they feel better, right? They feel like, yeah, I bought the dip, right? But the mistake here that people don't get is that they actually don't calculate how much they invest. So it's not about buying the dip, it's only about buying the dip when it makes sense, one, and when you can afford it. Because what a lot of people do is they see things going down, they buy it, and they don't calculate that they are over investing. So if, let's say, 10k is what you can afford to lose, uh, buying more than that will not make you more money. Why? Because a lot of people be like, yeah, but what you're talking about, because I put 20k here, I did 200x, so would have made more. No, that's not how it works. You're just actually calculating the stuff by just seeing what it did and make it so easy. The road to 200x is not that easy. All those kinds of stuff that I show you right now are easy because I tell you, but if you experience all of this kind of crazy move here, you'd lost your mind. So the problem with overinvesting is that people think the more you put, the more you make. Not true. The more you put, the more emotional you'll get. And if you get emotionally involved, you're probably going to sell either on a loss because of the fear of missing your capital and losing your capital, or you'll sell on the first pump and you'll sell too early. Why? Because you can't handle the volatility. You can handle the volatility when you actually make money, when you actually, put money that you can afford. You can't handle the volatility when you're overinvest, because you'll always think about other factors. Oh, what if I lose it? Oh, what if I make more? What if I don't make more? The questions will hit your mind and it will affect your psychology. So when you buy the dip, be really careful. Don't buy the dip just because you feel good about it or you want to remove the pain. Buy the dip when it makes sense and when you can afford it. This is a very important thing, because I know a lot of people try to hide their pain by just buying the dip. They'll be like, yeah, I bought the dip. Yeah, I bought the dip. But they don't actually show the true nuance how it works. So you have to be careful about this thing. Last thing, which is very important, is when you cash out. The best advice I can give when you get out from altcoins is a slowly cash out, or basically what is called a gradually cash out. Now, we all know the stories, yeah, 200x here, you could have made it, but trust me, the volatility will kill you here, right? A lot of people sold even here. How you could actually understood that it would go more than that. So a lot of people can't handle the volatility, and the best move to actually have a peace in mind and actually achieve the best results is to slowly cash out. Why? Because if you actually have a plan to make 200x on Solana, 80% of investors here lost their mind because they thought now is the bear market starting and Solana is not going to pump more. But if you slowly took out the profits on the way up, you could have been in much better position, because if you sold here, let's say 60 or 70% of your money here, you sold a profit here, even if it didn't pump and it crashed, it'd be like, still I made the money. Of course, if I could have cashed out all, would be better, but still I made money, right? So you don't regret it. And here it pumped, you made also 30% and you made more. So I would say don't try to put a figure in your mind like I want to do 100x or I want to do $1 million and just stick to it, because market doesn't care what you want. You gotta look how the market reacts based on cycles, based on upgrades into the coins, what are they coming in the future, maybe it's an upgrade or something. So market doesn't care for your needs. A lot of people will be like, yeah, don't get out if I don't make 2 million. Like, you think market cares and knows what you want? Like, you should get out when you actually when it actually makes the most sense. Because if you made 1.8 million, what, you'll not get out? Like, market doesn't care, and you'll lose so much money if you actually do this. So you actually have to gradually sell, because gradually selling or partial selling, taking profits, gives you room for error. If you make a mistake and you sell too early, you still got capital aside to actually correct that mistake and make more money. If you actually sell a bit too late and maybe the thing's gonna crash, at least you actually sold some profits rather than not selling it. So having in one shot, it's hard. You can make most money like that for sure, but it's hard. So the best move that you can do in Altseason, I would say, is gradually take profits. And I think the most important lesson that I gave to you guys about this Altseason is the first one that I told you, that keep 10 or 5% of the profits, on the capital for the coin you previously sold. Because trust me, this is going to be the best stuff, because it trains your mindset and it helps you even to make money in case that things goes up. And even if it goes down, 10%, 5% doesn't affect anyone. So hope you enjoy this one.